Alright guys, I have a confession to make. I may hate Victoria 3, but I can't stop playing it! Victoria 3 is the long-awaited sequel to one of the best Paradox games ever made, Victoria 2. And to say that it's a disappointment would be the understatement of the century. But to really understand why Victoria 3 is so abhorrently dogshit, we first need to understand what systems make up Victoria 3. Starting with the simplest system to explain, the warfare system. In Victoria 2, warfare was simple. You declared a war, moved your units, and after a bit of fighting, you'd either win or lose. It's a very simple system. It's the same system that Hoi 4 and EU4 use, and everyone likes it. So it's only natural that for Victoria 3, Paradox would fuck it up and completely change the warfare system for no reason. Victoria 3's warfare is divided into two stages, the diplomatic stage and the war stage. The diplomatic stage is very simple. You first have to start a diplomatic play against another country, which you can only do if you have a declared interest in the region that country is in, and then you go through the three crisis phases, which essentially boil down to talk about the crisis with the enemy, both sides try to get allies through diplomacy, and then you have to see if either side pussies out. Now, assuming that neither side of the crisis pussies out, you will then move on to the war stage, which is where you actually fight the war. Now, on paper, this system sounds great, at least until you realize that it only really works in multiplayer. You see, for some reason, Paradox forgot that people can't talk or negotiate or interact with their game's AI in any meaningful way. So whenever you start a diplomatic play in single player, it is guaranteed to go to a war because for some reason, the AI doesn't back down unless you are overwhelmingly stronger than it or have a majority of the great powers on your side. And even then, there's still a good chance that the AI won't back down because for some reason, it thinks it's fucking Rocky Balboa about to fight Ivan Drago. And to make matters worse, on top of that bullshit, the actual combat system sucks ass. Now, I'm sure that most of you know that in every Paradox grand strategy game, your units are represented as squares on the map that you can move around. In Victoria 3, your army is a number that you assign to your general, and that's all it is. You don't get to move around your army, and you don't even get to see your army on the map. You simply assign it to a front line during a diplomatic play and hope that it wins after the war starts. This combat system fucking sucks. It gives you no control over your military, it makes wars less fun, and it replaces skill with luck. But you know it's not luck based? The economy, baby! Which is why I actually like Victoria 3's economy system. It gives you a good amount of control over your trade, it gives you a good amount of control over your production, and overall it's just a good economy system. As long as you ignore the budget and the economy laws. For some reason, Paradox decided to take away the budget sliders from Victoria 2, in favor of 5 buttons and the option to add consumption taxes. Now, this is fine until you realize that, unlike Victoria 2, there's no way to separately tax the lower, middle, and upper classes. And on top of that, you also can't really change military and government spending. You can only change military wages and government wages. And on top of that, Paradox moved education spending to the institutions tab, making it so you no longer have to pay for better quality of education. And did I mention that with the Charters of Commerce update, Paradox completely automated trade? Can we please give Paradox Interactive a round of applause for actually taking away a feature with a DLC? That's gotta be a fucking first if I've ever seen one. Luckily for us though, something that Paradox didn't take away or change since release is the fact that in order to pass any laws, you need to go and lobby your government for it. Ain't that fun? That's right everybody, if you want to pass any laws in Victoria 3, you need to first make sure that enough interest groups or a big enough interest group supports the law that you want to pass, then you need to spend upwards of however many years the game feels like it lobbying that law, and then you need to make sure that no civil wars start over the law you want to pass. And after that whole process, you will finally have a new law that probably won't really change anything. But it's fine, it's the thought that counts, right? Rinse and repeat that process for any law you ever want to pass. Now, I don't think I need to sit here and explain why this government system is fucking moronic. Sure, it's realistic, but if we're being honest, nobody plays Paradox games for the realism. You play a Paradox game to paint a map with your country, and anyone that says otherwise is a fucking liar unless they play City Skylines. But we all know how that one ended up. In conclusion, Victoria 3 is a game that I can sit here and criticize all day, but the reality of the situation is that even though this game disappointed me to the point that I completely lost my trust in Paradox when it comes to making sequels, Victoria 3 is also a game that I can't stop playing. Why? Because in Victoria 3, expanding your factories feels good. Seeing your GDP grow feels good. Seeing your standard of living go up feels good. And seeing your cities go from rural towns to bustling metropolises fills you with an incredible sense of satisfaction that no other map game will. Victoria 3 is a game that had potential. A lot of potential, but unfortunately, that potential was lost in a rushed development cycle and in a sea of DLCs. As always, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and consider supporting me on Patreon if you like my videos, link in the description. Remember to always drink and drive, and I will see you all on the next one. Roll the Haruher.